Hey everyone, MTast here, and I'm about to hit AR 45 on our character. Now, I wanted to give you some tips, the ultimate tips for every free-to-play player, because after playing through the game again with all the knowledge of the first playthrough, things were a lot more optimized. I saved a ton of resources with the things I learned, and honestly, I think that the free-to-play experience on my second account was much better than the first. I was never sitting there wishing I had resin as much because I honestly could get most of the upgrades based on the resin that we had. That's because I planned smart, and I wanted to give you some tips. Now, I'm going to let you know that I am still quitting this game, but I wanted to make sure that I made this video and I made this guide because this will help many players long term. I don't like the monetization strategies of MiHoYo and Genshin Impact, but I think that the content and the fun factor of this game is definitely there. I'm not quitting because I don't enjoy the game, I'm quitting because I don't want to promote it. Does that make sense? Now let's get into it. We're going to talk about the ultimate free-to-play tips for you and your character. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is experience. I have never done an experience leyline on this account. Not even one. Zero. With Venti, with Diluc, with Beidou, they are maxed out. We've also got a level 40 Barbara and a level 40 Xiangling. And when I ascend Beidou at the next ascension level or adventure level, I'll be able to max her out. I've got 200 of these books, multiple of these, I've got a bunch of these, and I've never done a leyline. You get enough experience from quests, you get enough experience from chests, you get enough experience from playing this game and doing the adventure book, doing all the different tasks in there. And so if you're maining kind of two characters, let's say you have a main support and a main DPS, you can essentially level them up and max them out and never have to worry about experience books. It's when you start getting into 3 characters, you might run into some trouble. It's when you start getting into 4 and 5 characters, you're going to really start to be bleeding this experience and needing this experience. And if you go beyond that, you are going to be so empty on experience, it's not even funny. But that's good news for free-to-play players because your main DPS is going to be on the field for the majority of the time. And so if you're leveling them up and giving them all the stats, you're going to have more than enough every single time you ascend to level them up, max them out, and feel good about it. So that is a bonus. One other thing you can do if you want to save experience long term is every ascension level, don't max them out. Get them to 40 or like 39 out of 40. Get them to 49 out of 50. And in this case, 69 out of 70. Nice. It does allow you to get a lot of experience, and in the case of Venti, I've saved like almost 2 purple books from this. You know, Diluc, I've got a bunch of experience. Beidou has actually leveled up. I've gotten so much experience. I don't know what she was at before, but it's enough experience that it does save books. And then you can use those books on some of your other support characters and give them a bunch of experience. If you're leveling up characters on the side, I mean, my Barbara got to like level 25 from 20. That is a lot of extra experience that you don't have to spend, right? Even at these low levels, every level is like a free book. And so between Noelle, my main character here, and these 2 characters, I've probably saved 20 books, 20 purple books, and that matters. So the next thing I wanted to talk about was artifacts. And you can essentially max out your main character, easy peasy, no problem. You can max them out and get this because you're going to be able to take these kind of mid-tier or bottom-tier artifacts, and you can use like, I think it's like 80 or 90% of the experience when you use it on an upgrade. But I've got a lot of these items, an insane amount. And if we go look at this here and we go to enhance it and we look at all the artifacts that I have, you get a lot in game from playing. And so don't be afraid to level up your main DPS and level up their artifacts because it does lead to a lot of damage. And the big one I would recommend is the feather. This feather has carried me since I was like level 9. I got really lucky from a shrine. I ended up getting this, and this has carried me and has been my biggest damage boost in the game. And so if you do see something like this, if you see a feather that's got some crit rate and crit damage, level it up. You're going to have enough resources. And if you're focusing on just 1 or 2 characters, you'll have plenty. You'll have plenty. And when you get to the higher adventure ranks, and you are leveling up those artifacts, and you're getting new artifacts, you will get enough. I promise you that, okay? In the case of my account, I've got a maxed out feather, we've got a maxed out clock, we've got a maxed out cup, we've got a maxed out helmet on my Diluc, and I've still got plenty of resources. My Beidou has some not maxed out stuff. You know, some of it is not maxed out. This cup isn't maxed out, but her feather's maxed. This flower's maxed, and I still have tons. My Venti, maxed flower, maxed feather. So trust me on this one. Get the attack damage, get those stats going. You're gonna hit like a truck, and the game's gonna be way easier. Don't hoard your artifacts. Now, I've never spent $1 in this game, and you can see all of these weapons. And I have used tons of these weapons to level up. Okay? You get so many weapons from chests and from quests and doing all these different activities. You are going to get these weapons from just wishing from all the Primo Gems in the game. But on top of this, look at this. I have tons of upgrade materials because when you're only working on 3 characters' weapons or 2 characters' weapons, you're going to save up. If you do your daily experience for crystals and you craft those crystals into an enhancement ore, you'll have more weapon experience than you need. I'll be able to max out my weapons from 70 to 80, no problem. I might have to start using some of this stuff, but I have more than enough experience, especially for 2 DPS characters, and that's why we say focus on just a couple of characters. So I want to talk about weapons really quickly. You get crafting materials to make multiple and refine multiple weapons here. The Crescent Pike, if you want to make Shangling or Zhongli down the road a DPS, Crescent Pike is nuts. This is insanity how good this weapon is. So if you are to craft this and level it up, this can carry you. Okay? The Prototype Aminus is incredible as well. And if you want to get 2 of these and refine it up and do extra damage and have one of your characters carry you, like a Razor or a Beto, go for it. And if you want to get really cheeky, you can make 1 White Blind, which is incredible for Noelle, and you can make 1 Prototype Aminus and give that to your main DPS, and you're going to have 2 characters with 2 amazing weapons that honestly are only going to get replaced by a 5-star, which you probably aren't going to get. These weapons are absolutely good enough, and you don't need to stress about 5-star weapons. If you end up getting a cool weapon while wishing, you do enough wishes, you'll probably get some weapons. Cool, go for it. And if you look at my inventory here, and you look at the weapons that I have, if this is based on random luck, you might have another spear. You might have a couple different bows. You might have a couple different books. You're going to have some options, and it's up to you to realize what you're trying to do with that character. Are you using Mona and you want her to be a main DPS auto-attacking? Well, maybe I wouldn't use this book because it's got energy recharge here, and it's got more energy recharge here. Maybe I would use this one because it's got attack, and it's doing extra damage here based on your attack. You need to look at these things. You need to understand what the stats are in this game. But based on average luck and random luck, you're more likely than not going to have enough weapons that are solid. Enough weapons to carry your team. And there's going to be some blue stuff like this. This is literally Barbara's weapon. It has HP. It boosts the team. You don't need a 4-star item on her. There's a bunch of 3-star weapons and items. I've got another one saved down here. It's on Mona. It's not the best for Mona, but I don't really use her. There's White Tassel. There are some blues, but I wouldn't be focusing a ton of resources into blues because I feel like there's enough purples in the game. They're going to have better base stats overall that for your main core team, you should have enough. You absolutely should have enough. And if you have Shangling and you're crafting this spear here, everyone gets Shangling in the game. And everyone has access to 2 of these. This Crescent Pike, if you put her on 1 DPS team and you have 1 Claymore user with a prototype, that is enough. You will be able to beat the Spiral Abyss. I'm telling you, if you level them up, you level their talents, you get these weapons, you use them, they will be enough damage. There's no secret, there's no trick. They will carry your team. As long as you have a decent cast of characters that can support them and heal them. You've already got Barbara. There's one of them. That's all you need. And so people that are complaining about not having enough, you have enough. You absolutely have enough. I'm telling you, these weapons are cracked. Crescent Pike is busted good. And Prototype Aminus absolutely can carry you. And if you want to use White Blind for Noelle and have another healer, boom, you have more than enough. So that's something I wanted to say. As for some of the other upgrade materials, I've had to farm some of the, the Rune Sentinels, the Rune Titans or whatever. I've had to put in some time farming them, but that's everyone. That's not going to change. But just playing through the game, running around, if you see an enemy slay it, there's no situations where I've been like, oh, damn, I can't get an upgrade today because I don't have enough Titans to fight. If you're going into your commissions or your adventure log, you're going to these bosses and you're tracking them down, or you're going to some popular areas where you know they spawn, you're going to be fine. You know that there's some of these in Storm Terror's lair. Go slay them. You know, every other day, go slay some. Down here on the map, there's a bunch in this region here. Go slay them. Get that experience or get those drops, and you're not going to be short of materials anytime soon. So while playing and leveling up this other character, and while focusing on just a couple of characters, you have plenty of resin. You have more than enough for the 2 characters. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Now, I did use 50 Primo Gems every day. I did get extra resin, and so that did allow me to fully upgrade my weapons, fully ascend my characters. Every time I hit a new adventure world tier, I could just fully, boom, level them up. This is the first time where I'm actually low on resources and low on resin, and that's fine. It's going to happen. But leveling up, to level 70, pretty much every character, every weapon upgrade I was able to get the day I got them. The day that I ascended. And I want to explain that. So if you look at these weapon materials, even at a low level, you start getting these blues and these greens. But once you're at AR 30, you can start getting purples. But you also get a bunch of blues and a bunch of greens. And so if you're looking at a character and you just spend your daily resin one day, it's pretty much enough to upgrade to like level 70. It's actually insane how much of these materials you get, and it's not that bad for doing weapon materials. And so if you have a weapon that you need to upgrade, and you see that Monday or Thursday is coming up, if you bang out all your resin on that day, you can pretty much max that weapon in the early game for sure. After that, it might take a little bit extra, but it's not too bad. Now, as for bosses, bosses are kind of the same way. You're going to need these hurricane seeds if you're on someone like a Venti. You're going to need the water one. You need the fire one. But it drops like 1 early on, but it drops 2 pretty early. And then eventually it goes to 3. And with the amount that you need, and the amount of these that you need, between buying them in Mondstadt and buying them in Leeway, you don't have to grind out the bosses that much. It really isn't that bad. And so I never felt constricted with resin on this either. Now the big one is talent books. Talent books require a lot of farming. And here is my recommendation. You're going to get talent books from just playing the game, and you're going to get quite a few of them, and it's enough to do your first early levels. But I would wait until adventure rank 36, and then I would use a bunch of fragile resin. Now I know typically you want to wait till later to use fragile resin, but the drop rate of books at AR 36 compared to 45 is almost nothing. Now, if you're looking at something like artifacts, right? With artifacts, at AR 45, it absolutely slaps AR 40, and it absolutely eviscerates anything lower. And so if you're doing artifacts, I would use my resin at AR 45. But for talent books, you can use 5, 10, 15 resin here and feel very comfortable because the drop rates are good. You're going to upgrade those talents. They are big boosts to your damage, and you can't take that away. So another thing I wanted to talk about was wishing. You actually get a lot of wishes in this game. Okay? As a fully free-to-play player, I've got like 13 pages of wishes on this thing. And I re-rolled my account, and that's why my account has so many 5 stars on it. And I got very lucky on the weapon banner. We know this, okay? I got super lucky getting the Wolf's Gravestone early. But if you re-roll an account and you get a couple of 5 stars early on in those first few wishes, that account is set for life. That account is set for the future. And I would recommend you try it. I've had a much better experience in this game. I do have a bunch of 5 stars, never spending a penny. We've got D-Luke, we've got Venti, we've got the Wolf's Gravestone, we've got Mona. And I'm sure I'll hit Pity eventually and get another 5 star. Actually, I have a constellation for D-Luke. So I actually have technically another 5 star, but we got another D-Luke constellation. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about my luck. But if you're playing this game and you do re-roll, there's no reason why by AR 40 you shouldn't have 3 or 4 different 5-star characters. Even with the worst luck, you get enough Primo Gems. Between all the chests, Geoculus, quests, everything, it's tens of thousands of Primo Gems. And then you've got Star Glitter and Stardust or whatever it is in the shop. And it does add up to a lot of wishes. And so if you're looking for a cast of characters and you're looking for 5 stars, you will get some. I guarantee you will get some. Now, this system is still pretty greedy, and that's one of the reasons I don't want to play this game long term, but For those of you that are saying you don't have any 5 stars, I don't know if you're spending Primo Gems on Resin. I don't know what you're doing, but I got a lot of wishes on this account, and I have not spent any money. I don't know how I show you this. I guess I can show you the shop where I still have all my bonuses. And, like, even if you're a low spender and you do something like the Welkin Moon, like, that's more wishes. And if you do the Battle Pass, you get a bunch out of the Battle Pass. But, you know, there's a lot of ways to get wishes in this game, and I think it is more than enough for a free-to-play player. Because, as I said before, even if you only get a couple 5 stars, if you focus on them and level them up, they can carry your team. If they're your main DPS characters, they're on the field the majority of the time, doing the majority of the damage. And so it's more than enough to push into the later content, for sure. So another thing I wanted to talk about was scaling. And if you look at D-Luke and you look at his base damage, I've got a level 1 weapon on him right now. You know, his base attack is like 300. And if you look at Beto, her base attack is like 213, let's say. 5-star characters are going to scale really hard, okay? But the thing is that's this base damage here, right? So he's got, you know, a good amount of base damage more. But artifacts give you tons of strength. Artifacts with the crit damage and the crit chance and the attack damage is a lot of it. And if you look at the weapons, if we go prototype Aminus, we're going to give her the prototype Aminus. And you look at her base damage, she's got 603, right? 603. Let's give it to D-Luke. Let's give him the prototype Aminus. We'll switch it up. Look what his base damage is. 683. Right, so relatively, he is going to have more damage. But the artifacts give so much damage, and the weapon is one of the big reasons why you have a lot of your damage. That, in the grand scheme of things, the scaling on this doesn't matter that much, or as much. Now, in the case of D-Luke, he gets a bunch of crit rate, right? And crit rate is an extremely valuable stat. And so you could say that, you know, he scales a little bit harder or a little bit better. But if you're doing elemental attacks in electric, she gets electro damage. And so that's something that D-Luke doesn't have. He doesn't get elemental damage built in. So, you know, there's give and take for everyone, but the base damage you get for having a 5-star doesn't matter that much. And the constellations, they really do. They do matter a lot. And you're more likely to get a 4-star character with constellations than it ever will be to get a constellation on your 5-star. And for that reason, I think that 4-star characters long-term are better. And so if you're looking at a character, and you're looking at D-Luke, he is amazing. But if you have a character that's got a bunch of constellations, they most likely will outscale them very quickly. After just 2 constellations, they're probably on par, if not better. If you're getting into 4, that character is absolutely better. And if they're getting into 6 and max constellation, that 4-star character is 100% not even a competition better than a 5-star. So if you've gotten really unlucky with your 5 stars, but you've gotten really lucky with getting, maybe Razor, maybe you've got Shangling multiple constellations, they're going to hit harder. They're going to be better characters. So don't cry about 5 stars. Maybe you got really lucky with a 4-star and you don't realize how damn good they are. Because it really does matter. It's really, really powerful, these constellations and the passives that you get. Yes, once you get to level 70 and 80, that base scaling, it's going to matter more. When you get to 80 and 90, it is going to matter a little bit more. But you're not going to get a bunch of constellations on these 5-star characters. It's just not going to happen, especially as a free-to-play player. And so you might want to look at some of these characters that maybe you do have some constellations on and consider, maybe that character is a lot better than I thought. So here's my final tip. As a free-to-play player, you do need to min-max a little bit. You need to plan things out a little bit and make sure you're getting some good resources. Make sure you're getting those talent materials. But I have never felt on this account that I am extremely poor, that I'm low on experience, that I never have enough materials. I have, for the most part, been able to progress smoothly because I'm only focusing on a couple characters. And that tip has been, I've said it so many damn times, but after putting it into practice and doing it, I've been able to beat all the bosses. I've been able to take on Stormterror. I've been able to take on the Wolf. And I've been able to really progress through the Spiral Abyss with these characters. Do I have some extra 5 stars that maybe give me an edge? Yep, absolutely. But if you reroll, you can be in a very similar situation. And if you're using 4 stars, you're only missing out on a couple damage here and there. It's not enough to matter. I would easily be able to beat Floor 8, Chamber 3 with my team had I used Shang Ling and the Crescent Pike. Had I used Beidou with this Wolf's Gravestone that I got. Yes, it's a 5-star, but I'm saying, if I used Beidou at the same level, and I gave her the best weapon possible, and the best artifacts possible, she's only fractionally worse than Diluc right now for overall DPS. So, that's what I wanted to say, is don't stress about it too much. Get lost in the world, go explore, have fun, don't stress too much. You'll make progress as you go, but if you only focus on a couple characters, I think that pretty much everyone can make it through this game, do very well, hit very hard, beat all those bosses, and not be a wet blanket potato that doesn't do no damage. Okay? That's it. Do your daily missions, do your daily resin, do your quests as you see them, find those chests, and that's it. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.